Hey, what's going on everybody? FullFrontage here today, bringing y'all a Clash Mania video, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the balance changes that are going to be coming on June 16th. We don't know exactly what they are yet, but in this video, I'm going to go through every hero, every mini in the game, and I'm going to say whether it should be buffed, nerfed, or stay as is in this upcoming round of changes. So, let's start off with the heroes. World Champion. World Champion needs to be nerfed. It's we talked about this in the Stage channel. If you didn't check that out, make sure you head over to my channel and watch the Stage channel with Fan. There's a ton. It's a long video. It's like an hour and 20-30 minutes, something like that. But have it on in the background. Mainly just listen to it. It's mainly just like a podcast type thing. So really just listen to it and hear Fan kind of talk about the balance changes and the philosophy and things like that. So World Champion, it definitely needs to be nerfed. I think it does too much damage on the second bounce. I think the second bounce needs to be nerfed, or the second bounce needs to not give full health because it can just chain pretty much instantly. And with Epic Throw being at level 4 now, it kind of switches things up. Basically, level 4 and higher World Champion is really strong. So either nerf the damage on the bounce, or don't let it get full energy from bounce. That's my thought. Archer Queen. I think Archer Queen should stay as is. I don't think it needs to be buffed in any way. I think it's fine in its current state. It's just currently overshadowed by World Champion and Barbarian King. So I think Archer Queen should stay. Barbarian King, nerf, revert the change. It doesn't need to have 8 energy cost at max level. Give it its 10 back. Let it be on its way. That's fine. Shield Maiden. Shield Maiden, I think, needs a buff. I think this boast for +3 on willpower isn't really helpful, and I think a lot of the community agrees that something needs to be changed about its maxed out ability. So one thing that I might like to see is, instead of having it be a boast for 3 energy, have it be whenever an enemy is killed, or whenever it kills an enemy, why doesn't it just reset its shield timer? Like, I don't know if that's too OP. Like, I feel like its shield doesn't last a super long time, but I feel like if it kills, it should just reset the timer. It doesn't like get full energy and then recast. Like, if it dies and the timer is only at like 3/4, then it just resets. It doesn't get that full extra. It doesn't get a full amount of time plus what it had. It just resets. So I think that would be pretty cool, because it's like willpower. It's holding the shield longer. So that's just kind of my thought. Let me know if you agree or disagree or have any other ideas. I'm open to it in the comment section below. Monk. I think the Monk should stay as is. I don't think it's like too different. Maybe Final Piece and Mystic Palm switch, so that way at level 4 it's a lot more impactful. I don't know if that would make Monk way too strong or anything like that, but I don't know. I do like that it starts off as 4 energy though. That's kind of nice. We'll see. Countess, stay as is. I think Countess is fine. Skeleton King. Skeleton King needs a buff for sure. I think it hits too slow. Like, it does a lot of damage, but I think it's too slow. I think it needs to be a little bit quicker. I would love to see I Am Back at, I know Isolated was a new mechanic, but so was the Revival upon being KO'd. I think I Am Back should be level 4, and I think it needs to attack a little bit quicker. That's my thought. Wave Master, I think it's actually fine as is. I think Wave Master's pretty good. I have a ton. I might be able to upgrade it to level 8. I haven't checked that out yet, but we'll get to that point. So that's what I think for the heroes. Let me know whether you agree or disagree. Now let's talk about the minis. I'm just going to run through these fairly quickly. Knight, probably stay as is. Barbarian, there was controversy about this, but after talking to Fan about it, I think it actually might be okay as is. I questioned why it was +1 attack instead of +60% attack speed increase, and Fan had said that it was actually more broken than the +1 attack. So I think the main problem with this right now is that Archer and Spear Goblin make it really strong, especially the Archer. So I think kind of touching upon the Archer nerf might make this okay and not as dominant. So I'm a little on the fence. Excuse me. I'm a little on the fence about it, but for now, I'm going to say it should stay. Miner. I think Miner should stay. I don't think anything really needs to be changed with it. I think it's just overshadowed by other 2 Elixir minis. But when it is used, if it's used effectively, it is really good. So I think it should just stay as is. Archer. Archer needs a nerf. Archery. It says with reduced attack speed. I think it's 0.1. Maybe make it 0.25. Like, lower its attack speed by 0.25 when this ability is upgraded. And then this is huge clash speed increase for 6 seconds. I would say make this huge speed increase for its first 2 attacks. I wouldn't even give it a time. I would just say for its first 2 attacks, and then leave it as is. I don't know if that's too much. I don't know if that's like too harsh, but I think that should be fine for the Archer. Spear Goblin. I would love to see this gain 100% hit speed for 6 seconds. I would love to see that turn down to like 60 or 50% maybe, and have it last for the same amount of time, and I think that's fine. And maybe this +2, I don't know. Maybe Spirit Toss +2, let me know what you think, but I think that should be nerfed. Wizard, I don't know how I feel about the 75%, so I'm just going to call it should stay for now. Ice Wizard should stay, Swordsman should stay, it's really good. Guard should stay, it's pretty good. Musketeer should probably stay, it's really good. Giant Skeleton, it seemed like it's the change that they did to the blast radius was interesting. I don't know, it seems like it made Giant Skeleton less impactful. I don't know if it's just because this is just such a dominant 2 elixir meta that it's just not getting time to shine. So I'm going to call Giant Skeleton should stay. Lumberjack should stay. Mini Pekka. I don't really care for Hack. I don't know what should be changed about it, but I just feel like Mini Pekka is right now. I don't know. I haven't really put like a ton of thought into like what would be beneficial for Mini Pekka. I think I talked about something in Spoop's video, and honestly that was just like an off the cuff idea, and I don't even remember what I said. So we'll leave it as stay for now. Dark Goblin should say. Bowler, I think Bowler needs a slight nerf. There were a couple changes that were brought up. I really like Spoop's idea of it should only hit like the 4, so like how the Fisherman kind of only throws 4 tiles. Maybe the Bowler should only hit 4 tiles in front of it. So if it's in the back, the Bowler would only hit that first side, that first row on the enemy side. Maybe that's an idea. Maybe another idea is that it does stagger damage, like Spoop said for the Spear Goblin. If it hits that first tile, it does 5. The second does 4. The third does 3 for the Spear Goblin. But for this, maybe if my enemy lines up 4 in a row and I hit it, first tile does 2 damage, second tile does 1, and then the last 2 only get stunned. They don't take damage, they just get that stun. So there's some different ideas for that. Maybe that's a possibility for it as well. But Bowler seems really strong right now. Even just at base level, not many people upgrade it. So there might need to be more incentives for upgrade. Maybe its base stats are toned down. Like maybe its base HP goes down to like 6, but then it gets +3 per level instead of +2. I don't know, something like that to kind of incentivize people to like need to upgrade Bowler, so it's not just a thing, but at the same time that doesn't really help combat the clash aspect of it. But also talk about the clash balance when we talk about that. Healing Ranger should probably get a little bit of a buff. I really don't like how they like overkilled it. Maybe just give it +1 HP per level. Maybe turn its HP down to 4 and then give it +1 HP per level, so that way it caps at 7. And if that's too strong, maybe just increases her energy cost to 5. I don't know, but I think Healing Ranger was kind of overkilled. Anyway, Valkyrie needs a buff. I don't really like how they changed the clash to deep wound for healing. Personally, every time I upgraded the Valkyrie, I got that clash ability because the clash could lead into the frenzy, which makes the Valkyrie really strong. So I think Valkyrie was hit too hard with this ability change. I think they should bring back the clash ability to have her attack, or just increase her attack speed and leave it like that. Maybe increase it to like 0.5, or I would even be okay with increasing it to like 0.55 and then turning the turning the HP down to +2 per level, so that way she dies a little bit quicker, but she still has a quicker attack speed. Maybe that's the idea with that. I don't know if that's too much paired with Frenzy, because we don't have the stats here, and I haven't actually calculated it in a while, so I don't know how quickly her attack speed amps up when using Frenzy. So maybe I'm completely wrong about that, but I feel like she just attacks really slow. Golden Giant, I think the Golden Giant is okay right now. I don't think it's too bad. It's really good against Royal Champion. It's really good against Wave Master. And it's just like, it has an okay spot in the meta right now. I think it's okay. I think it's a pretty good unit. Rogue Ghost, buff it. I think Fana talked about switching the Ghost Army to become the Clash ability right at the start, or the super right at the start. I can't remember what he said off the top of my head, but the Ghost Army is going to become its starting ability and then the second one will become something else. I think it would be really cool if its second ability was kind of based on what the main super is now, which is Ghosties, where it becomes invisible for 4 seconds. And it has an energy cost of 5. I would increase its HP to, like, base HP to, like, 6. Have it go up +2 per level, and then lower its damage to 1. I think that's probably fine. I'd rather see the Royal Ghost be, like, a tank support rather than a DPS support. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Fisherman. I think Fisherman is probably okay right now. I was still under the impression that its extra barbs, its first hook, should just be the 1 spot, like that the hook is on, and then the extra barbs gives it the 3 across. So that way it's the 8 to invest in getting more, and then increase some of its stats again to make it a little bit better on its own, and it makes it a lot more difficult and kind of skillful in a way to try to predict your opponents. That way you're only getting that 1 target, unless you upgrade it, of course, but you're only getting that 1 target. So I'm wondering if that's something that they lean towards. I don't know. Maybe that's, I mean, it's 8 elixir to invest in possibly getting 3 instead of just 4 getting 3 units on the enemy side. So I would say maybe increase some of its base stats and then reduce the hook to what it is, and then the second ability where it becomes a plus, instead it's just a minus. So that's kind of my thought. Let me know whether you agree or disagree in the comment section below. Prince, I think Prince is okay. I think its main problem is the Clash, which I'll talk about after we go through all the minis and things like that. So I think the Prince should stay as is. Then we have the Pekka. I think the Pekka should stay. Magic Archer. Magic Archer was confirmed to get a rework. A couple of my thoughts, maybe it's like, maybe instead of this like magic arrow dealing +1 damage, so instead of giving it like 3 damage per hit, maybe it does this thing where it shoots in like 2 different directions, right? Like it hits, like it goes to the 2 closest enemies to it and it just shoots in that direction on like every other attack or something like that. Like I think that would be really cool. I feel like that's something the Magic Archer would be able to do. I like Dissipate as is, and then Shatter isn't like too useful, so maybe this one turns into or maybe that one turns into the it hits another target that I feel like that'd be a pretty good ability, where every other attack it like shoots a second target to and it's the closest. Like the Archer is the furthest, so the Magic Archer is the closest, and then maybe this Magic Arrow stays as is. I don't know, maybe that would be cool. So maybe they just change his third ability. And then I think the rest of it's kind of fine. Maybe they're just talking about ability changes for the Magic Archer. I don't know, what do you think should change for the Magic Archer? But I think it should get a little bit of a buff. Battle Healer. Honestly, I don't think allies receiving first aid gain 1 energy. I think that's kind of meh. I'm wondering if the Battle Healer should have like almost like the Barbarian King, where it increases the attack speed on its third. So instead of gaining 1 energy, maybe it gains like 50% attack speed. I don't know. It feels like overkill with the healing on the Battle Healer. I don't know. So I think it should change, probably a buff. I think this cheer is just really useless, honestly. And then her base stats, I think her base stats are probably fine. Maybe no, I think the base stats are fine, because she gets +2 per level. She gets like 1.2 hits per second at max level. She has like 17 HP at max level, so I think that's fine. I think just changing her third ability, making it actually viable to upgrade to her max capability is probably good. Mega Knight, I don't really like Dark Armor. I don't think it does anything. So I think the Mega Knight should get like a slight change. I don't know whether to call it. I mean, it's a buff, I feel like, because you're changing its ability. But honestly, I think the Mega Knight should, instead of having it being hit regenerates 2 and attacking like maybe people just don't utilize it well enough. But I think maybe its third ability should knock enemies back. you know, because like right now it just slams and stuns them. Like maybe it should knock them back, kind of like how the Skeleton King, when he hits his mace, I guess when he hits his mace on the ground, or when he swings it, depending on the skin you're using, he like knocks the enemies back. I'm wondering if the Mega Knight, when it slams, instead of just stunning the enemies, if it should knock them back. And that's like his 3rd star ability instead of Dark Armor. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but I think that would be a good buff for it. Ewiz. I'm not sure. I really don't like this charger ability. I feel like it doesn't do too much. I also want to talk about like the same row abilities, and I think this would also be like an indirect buff to the Ewiz. But I think the Ewiz is honestly okay. I don't think he really needs to be changed that much. I would say maybe increase the base HP to 8 and then lower its plus per level to 1, because it like the incentives for upgrading the Ewiz, like for this, zap plus 3 second stun duration, strikes up to 3 enemies, like the perks of upgrading the Ewiz are not the extra stats, it's the extra the abilities that you get with the Ewiz. Like for some minis it's the stats you want, like you want to upgrade the stats for that. So that's kind of my first thought, is maybe buff the HP to 8 and then lower the plus to +1 instead of +2. I think that would be cool. And then change the second ability. But if they don't change the second ability, I do have some ideas to kind of talk about that. So last one that you're going to talk about is the Witch. I think the Witch, the Skeleton should not trigger boast abilities, but I also think if that does become a reality, then the Skeleton should be a lot weaker. Skeleton should have like 2 HP. They should only do like 0.35 hits per second, only does 1 damage. Big Bone can stay the same, so that way Skeletons will have 4, but even if they die to Royal Champion, like if Royal Champion doesn't happen to get nerfed, or it gets nerfed in a different way and the shield still does the 4 damage, then it can still kill the Skeletons in one shot, not have to worry about the Skeletons surviving with 1 HP or anything like that. But also, Witch would actually become a viable unit. Like even if they didn't change Royal Champion at all and Witch Skeletons do not trigger boast abilities, then Witch actually could become a viable counter to the Royal Champion, because then it would not allow the Royal Champion to get a trigger ability. So like if it hits the Barb King and then it hits a Skeleton, it'll kill that Skeleton, but the Witch or the Royal Champion won't be able to chain its abilities because the Skeletons does not trigger a boast effect. If it kills the unit before, if it hits that then hits a Skeleton, then it would still trigger the boast because the Royal Champion did get a kill on the shield bounce. So that would be kind of like my first thought into kind of an indirect nerf to Royal Champion, and then also an indirect nerf to Archer Queen and things like that. So maybe the Witch should not just trigger any boast of the Skeletons from the Witch should not trigger any boast abilities. I think that would be really cool. Then the last couple changes that I did want to talk about are to Clash abilities. I think Clash abilities should only be limited to 2 to 3 minis per deck. I haven't come to it full on like this is 100% it, but I think you should be able to be limited in how many Clash abilities you choose. This would also create a more diversified meta, because if you think about one of the top meta decks right now, it's Barbarian, Spear Goblin, Archer, Bowler, and Lumberjack. Technically, those only the Spear Goblin and Bowler have starting Clash abilities, but now the Barbarian has a Clash ability, the Archer has a Clash ability for the speed increase, and the Lumberjack has the Clash ability where he throws the Rage Potion right at the start of the match. So all 5 of those minis have Clash abilities. If you could only be limited to, say, 3 minis with Clash abilities, you might have to make some changes. You would either need to have you could have the Spear Goblin swapped out, you could have the Bowler swapped out, you can have any of those units swapped out, because they're all Clash-based minis, even with upgrades. So I wonder if that would be a interesting change or a viable change to combat kind of the dominance of Clash abilities inside of Clash Mini and make things a little bit more well-rounded. I think we need to see more minis with supers and more minis with Clash abilities. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section below, and if you agree. And then the other thing I want to talk about is the kind of the Clash abilities that spawn, that have a row. I think you should be able to change that, whether it affects the row and the horizontal, because then, for example, like say you want to have Barbarian and in its current state row Ghost, right? So the Barbarian could clash itself and then the 2 minis on its side. Then you have the Royal Ghost in front of one of those units, say the Archer. So you have Spear Goblin, Barbarian, Archer, Royal Ghost, Barb King, right? So you have this kind of like L shape. Instead of the Royal Ghost having to have that, so you're making this like square, you're making this L. So that way you can have the Royal Ghost affect the Archer in the Barbarian King, for example, in front of it, instead of having it be on the side. So maybe that's something that's cool, and you can only have it one orientation and it stays that way for the match. So you kind of like select the orientation before you queue into a match. So like if I had the Barbarian, or if I had this Barbarian in my deck, let's just sub this out. If I had the Barbarian in my deck, when I click that, it'll, if you have that ability unlocked, it'll say horizontal or vertical for the clash ability. I don't know if that's too in-depth for some people, because I know a fan was talking about having the balance be like staying, like the game wants to be simple. It's meant to be a simplified game. You don't want too many advanced strats and things like that. So I don't know. That's just my thought. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comment section below with that. But I think that would be really cool to have some customization to the strategy that you bring into Clash Mini. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I do apologize that this is a bit of a longer video, but balance changes are going to be coming on June 16th. So be on the lookout for the video to cover what exactly those changes will be. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more content, and don't forget to turn that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos. And I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later. Peace out.